Lance Griffin with Wolf Radio, pleased to be joined today by Pro Wrestling's Mick Foley. He'll be at the Dothan Opera House 1 week from today. You can get your tickets at MadHatterShows.com, MadHatterShows.com. And Mick, the whole town is looking forward to you being here. Now, you do podcasts, you write books. We've got a pretty good insight into your career. So what are people going to gain by seeing you in person with the one-man shows like coming up a week from tomorrow?
Well, I'm not going to compare myself to Bruce Springsteen, but when he was on Broadway, people were like, yeah, we know the stories, but it's Bruce telling them, and it makes it different. And I have been doing this a long time. I think the last time I was in Dothan, I did my show in 2012 or 2013, had a nice audience. So I've been doing this, storytelling, since probably 2003 when I started speaking to colleges. And I'm going to be honest, I'm good at it. I am good at taking something that was on the page and rewriting it and working on it until it's really good on the stage. I almost always outperform people's limited expectations, and it's a really nice night of wrestling stories, cross-section of some of my biggest moments and some of the not-so-well-known moments. Like, I will definitely take a little dive into wrestling at the Dothan Farm Center. I don't know which night of the week it was, but I was in Continental for about 4 months. That means I was there 16 times. It was always our best town, and I'll gear some of the stories around that time of my life. I'll touch on the infamous cell match, and I'll send everyone away with a happy face.
I know everyone remembers those iconic matches, but I think people are interested in knowing if there was a match that may not be well known on a grand scale publicly, or a promo you cut, or just something that may have directed a storyline, or something that's very close to you that really stands out after your long career.
Yeah, there are those type of stories. So I think you retell a story every 13 years, right?
Yeah.
I think 13 years ago I talked about, I won't tell the story here. You have to go listen to it.
I hear you.
About a transformative experience I had with a veteran named Rotten Ron Starr. Refused to speak to me in the dressing room, who I knew had 6 or 7 lawsuits that fans had filed for him beating them. He had flashbacks. Vietnam was the first wrestler to break the real beer bottle over his head, and he refused to talk to me before the. I was pretty scared. And then this guy led me through one of the best matches of my life, and I was like, I have a new calling in life. I can get my butt kicked all over the building with style, like he was a fertility. I realized that was a talent, like I can wipe out 72 empty chairs, and with one big move. So I learned a lot when I was in Continental. We were hardly making anything, but it was the springboard to bigger things. I literally drove from Montgomery to Atlanta. I got my tryout match in WCW, and that changed everything. But I think almost to a person, you look back on your times, and you're like, wow, those times when we were starving, had 4 guys in a not just a 2-bedroom apartment, but a 2-bed apartment. Like, these are big dudes, and like we're sleeping together on a bed, not because we wanted to, but because great memories of my time in the area.
That's great. Of course, you went on to develop some outstanding personas. You had Mankind and Cactus Jack and Dude Love, and so many pro wrestlers don't even get to perfect one persona, and you got to perfect 3. But I'm wondering, did you have one in the tank? Did you have one that your career just didn't allow you to get out that you would have liked to have explored?
Yeah. I want to make sure the FCC does not misconstrue what I'm saying here. Are you aware of a wrestler named Abyss?
I am.
Well, Abyss had a similar look to Mankind, right?
Right.
I think Mankind may have inspired Abyss's look. But we were both working together in Impact Wrestling. I pitched the idea where I would be Abyss's love child with the ring name. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
FCC, make sure that we listen carefully. Son of Abyss. It's the best thing that never happened. best thing that ever happened. T-shirts would be flying off shelves. Action figures. Oh.
That would have been worth exploring for a couple of seasons, no doubt about that. Oh man, you were active in such a popular time for pro wrestling, and it goes through different seasons, it goes through different personas, just like you had your personas. Where are we now, and how would you describe it, and how would you compare it to when you were at, I guess, your most well-known 80s, 90s, 2000s? Where are we now?
I mean, as a wrestling in general?
Yeah, as a business, yeah.
Well, man, you know what they say, you can't put the cork back in the bottle.
Yeah.
What we had was a really beautiful time, and probably the most popular wrestling had ever been in the United States, but we couldn't get a sponsor to save our lives, you know. People avoided us like the plague because the content was a little, it was a little rough, around the edges, a little risque at times. And I understood the frustration to have this monstrously popular company that was selling out everywhere, doing incredible ratings, and could not get corporate sponsors. So we changed the product a little bit, went a little different direction. You know, I'll always think that the Attitude Era was the magic time, but we weren't making the money they are now, you know, meaning the wrestlers and the company.
Right.
So they did what they had to do. You know, we're really good at adapting, and I think in an international way, wrestling's more popular than ever. Like, for example, there are more WWE fans in India than there are in the United States.
Yeah.
And, you know, I do these shows, and, you know, honestly, Dothan's a little slow right now. So I'm glad people are talking about it, but it's one of the slower shows. But the Ireland UK tour is sold out all but 2 shows 6 months in advance. So it is an international, I don't want to say it's a phenomenon, but it's very popular internationally in a way that other sports aren't, because you got the cricket thing where the British Commonwealth, they're never going to like baseball, and I don't care what you say, we as a nation are never going to accept cricket. To me, it's like taking a game of baseball, removing every single interesting part and then putting it on the field. Cricket, and, you know, we make inroads with a few big games a year in American football, but you're never going to supplant soccer. But professional wrestling seems to grow anywhere sunshine, a little fertilizer, and pro wrestling succeeds. Now, I don't quite understand it, but I believe it has the potential to end wars. I'm not kidding. I believe it does. If people find something they have in common, like just for I'm generalizing here, because I know, and I'm not trying to get political, but Israel's problem is not technically with Iraq now, but I used to see the service members in the hospital when they've been injured. Mm-hmm. And they said when they first went into Iraq, the children were walking up and yelling 2 different things, Madonna and WWE, because they wanted our service members to know they knew American culture.
Right.
You combine that with the fact that to this day, the Von Erich system, you like to watch these guys in tights pretending to fight. Why don't we get together on what we agree upon instead of what we don't? And I know that's an extreme example, but I think it carries over to the U.S. People who don't think they have anything in common, and then see a fellow wrestling fan wearing a T-shirt, all of a sudden they've got an avenue for conversation.
That's a great example. We're talking with Mick Foley. He's going to be at the Dothan Opera House a week from tonight. You can get your tickets at MadHatterShows.com, MadHatterShows.com, and he'll explore this and much, much, much more. I just want to give you just a parting question as we get ready to close up. I appreciate your time. You're going to draw from a lot as you develop your show and as you get to interact with the fans next week, and it won't just be drawing from wrestling, it won't just be drawing from other wrestlers. You probably draw from a lot of areas, whether it's an author or a musician or an artist that shaped you or that was very...
Hey, let me stop you right there. I'm not coming to Dothan to talk about being an author. This is nothing more boring than an author talking about writing. I'm out there to put smiles on faces. You know, I know what people are here to. I mean, I consider